Hello and welcome back to Rustmouth. Let's get into those boxes. First box, nothing but advent calendars and Lego Dimensions. Nothing in there. Let's try another box. Now, here's something, not for Rustmouth, but set from 1976. It's set 911. I bought this specifically to build that for my old retro industrial complex. Inside this beautiful gatefold lid, I've parted it all back down. In there's some classic blue railway track pieces. There's still some parts missing because I had a build of a mining truck that was in the industrial zone that's somewhere else that survived the move. Anyway, beautiful, but not useful right now. And the only other thing in here is Bowser's airship, by the look of it. Actually, in the Bowser's airship box, there's a couple of things that aren't Bowser's airship. For one thing, there's the NES controller. And there's the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantum Realm ship. And there's also the stand for the TV from the NES, and it looks like everything else is the airship. Next box. More Mario stuff. It's not looking good. Well, I mean, it is looking good because it's Rustmouth, but like, it's not looking helpful for this particular endeavor. Toad's treasure hunt. And what's under there? Another Resnor knockdown. So I have 4 Resnors. And and Bowser's Castle as well. And over in the corner or sideways with Thwomp Drop. And we've got a little Avengers Infinity War set. The Outrider Dropship Attack. And the Lego Ideas Spaceship Ride, which is still sealed even. Next box. Oh, there's things in it. And it's not just Mario. We've got Jurassic Park stuff, but that is empty. And that is also empty. And that's also empty. And that's empty. 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 Advent calendars and the Atari 2600. Also, under everything else in that box, there was Stit's Revenge, which isn't Lego. There's the Atari VCS, the 2600. The little interior scene. I think I've poached the cat from it. There's supposed to be a kitten in there. That's somewhere else. And I might even end up stealing more of these things, like the classic Space Asteroids poster. And it's a lot of little cool details that I would like to steal from here. Next box. Anyway. Chinese New Year house. That's not in that box. That's empty. Get out of here. The Apollo 11 moon landing. That's all in that box. But naturally isn't any use for Rustmouth. And that leaves the Lego City Deep Space Rocket and Launch Control, which isn't particularly useful for Rustmouth either. Alright, one more box. That looks promising for Rustmouth. I can see those big road segments. Yeah, there's the Jurassic Park stuff. There's the Shield Quinjet. That's not coming out easily. There's the Pac-Man arcade. Here's everything out of that box. And as far as stuff for the town goes, we've got Magisto's Workshop Remaster, Highway Construction Overpass, the T-Rex Breakout and the extra car, and the first bus that I designed. And we have the vignette from the Pac-Man arcade machine with a little minifigure scale Pac-Man arcade machine, which I do want to include somewhere, but that might be a way off right now. So here's a closer look at the changes I've made to the 40601 reissue of Magisto's Workshop. I've put back some of the parts that Lego no longer made so they couldn't use them in the reissue. I've reinstated the old parrot, I've reinstated the old axes, I've reinstated the old shutters rather than the stickered ones, and I've reinstated the dragon plumes rather than the feathers. They have to sit at a weird angle just because of how the rest of it's built now. If I open it up, I can also show you that I've replaced the stickered scroll inside with an original printed one. Moving over here away from the old town, I've put the parts of the highway construction overpass down. I don't know about the elevated bit. I think if I want it's an elevated section of road, I'd want more of those segments because that kind of looks silly. It fits the excavator quite nicely, which is quite pleasing. I didn't find all the concrete supports, so I've put that straight piece down here where the missing section of road was. It's so much narrower than the road plates. It's much more to scale for 4 wide cars. If I had more of these segments, maybe I'd use them for all the roads. Down here we've got the bus that I designed for Rustmouth. It's 6 wide because buses are bigger than cars. It's based vaguely on a Dennis Dart era in an old first bus livery. It's got deep wheels at the back and shallow wheels at the front, like a real bus does. The doors are a little upsetting, but that's just how the maths worked out. I'm very pleased with the little yellow wing mirrors dangling off the edges. I've used the grooves on the 1x4s of studs on either end to give the front a little bit of texture. There's not much you can do at this scale. You can see our driver in there in his purple first bus uniform, modelled after Inspector Blake from On the Buses.
I hate you, fucker. I hate you.
Around the other side, it's the other indicator, and we've got the vents at the back. That was very important. It's got seats only up one side just because Lego seats are kind of wide. You can see the chairs get higher at the back to go over the rear wheel and over the engine. It's even got a little cubby for newspapers. It is quite long for such a rural bus. It's got a little bump on the back of the roof. Unfortunately, I couldn't really find a place to put a rear number plate, which is a shame because I like putting front and rear number plates on my builds, but the bus has ended up with only having a front one. It is pretty low to the ground, but like buses can go that low to let people on and off, so maybe it's just stopped. It's a bit hard to see in there, but he has even got a little driver's cab side door in there. And over in Dino Island, we've got the T-Rex Breakout, 76956, and also the car from 76959. Even though these cars only came out like a year apart, they've got different builds slightly. The roofs are different. That one's got windscreen wipers, and that one doesn't. And the bumper on this one is thinner than the bumper on that one. I kind of want to homogenize them. Also, this car is number 4, which is actually the smashed up car. So I have 2 car 4s. I might want to replace the guide rail with like an actual railway track piece. And we're going to have to lose this border to integrate it properly into the terrain. And thinking about things that are going to need to be debordered and fully integrated. This arrived while I was making the video. It's the Autumn Cottage Garden. How do you get there? Get out of here. This set isn't designed to be minifigure scale. It's a little bit smaller than that, but so's a 4-wide car, really, so it works all right for Rustmouth. Right in the back there, there's a little red squirrel with an acorn. He's also buried one under the tree. Can I reach that? Yes, I can. There it is. This little buried acorn. The second one I built out of the spare pieces from the set. Just happened to come with a second acorn, essentially. The thing that's most obviously out of scale of a minifigure is obviously that bench, but whatever. I've used some of the other spare pieces to dirty it up a little bit. The lavender's a bit more unkempt. There's an extra one off to the side. There's a little bit more leaves under the willow. As for the other wildlife, there's an obligatory frog, there's a robin, there's a nuthatch in that birch tree, and there's a snail, very important. He's going to have to move when I deboard this set, naturally. We've also got the river, of course, which is a different colour to the stuff at the coast and a different colour to the stuff at the temple, but the idea is that it's going to be one single river the whole way through, so I'm going to have to reconcile that somehow at some point. But you can see the suggestion of the direction of the flow of the river heading out to sea from here. From something that's underscale to something that's overscale. Here's the space rocket ride. It's way too big for Rustmouth. It's like the height of a single-story building. It's got a very nice classic spaceman on the kid's torso, so he'll probably live. It's got better cam action than I expected. It's quite nice. I was pleasantly surprised about that. It's a shame that it's so big. It's got a coin return with a whole bunch of 5 coins, which are very useful. They're all upside down. Useless. It's too dark in there. Anyway, it's going to get parted down because it's too big. And that's it for the moment. Thanks for watching.